Hello and welcome to the Daily Lawyer Podcast. My name is Jenna Krishnan and I am your host, as you probably know. Today, we are going to do something a little different on the podcast. We are starting a new series called ILA Dialogues times TDL. ILA is International Legal Alliance, which is a network of independent legal practitioners from over 150 countries across the globe. Who sort of band together on a best friend basis to give effective legal solutions to their clients. I am so happy and proud to announce that the Daily Lawyer is part of the ILA network. So today we are going to have with us, ILA is established in Bombay in India, I must say. Today we have Mr. Jamshed Mistry, who's a counsel of the Bombay High Court and also the founder of ILA. Jamshed, we are going to get into his story and his career trajectory and what led him to start the ILA and all of that in a separate podcast because that is a long conversation. But I really wanted Jamshed to come on today because, as one of the things that ILA does, in addition to like providing sort of effective solutions to clients, is also advocate on some issues which need improvement around our country with the respective courts. And you may all have heard that the Supreme Court announced that from September 27th, 2022, live streaming of all proceedings before the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court will be available for the public to view, which is a huge, momentous win. And this particular issue was very ably argued by Jamshed Mistry, along with Senior Counsel Indira Jaising. And I really wanted Jamshed to come on to speak about this issue, what led them rather to take this up, how did they do it and everything. So it's a really short, quick episode. I'm so grateful to Jamshed that he agreed to give his time so generously. So I'm waiting to get into this conversation and I hope you all derive value out of it. Hi, Jamshed. Thank you so much for joining us today and for being so generous with your time. So today, and I know we can have a really long conversation because you have a very interesting career trajectory, but we'll save that for the next episode. And today, I really want to know about this great win for yourself, for ILA, for our country, and how did you think of doing this? Like, why did you think it's important that we should have a live streaming? How did it start? Where did it start? Can you just take us through everything?
Sure. Actually, there are, this credit actually should go to several citizens and, several, lawyers, including the person who really played a very major role, Senior Advocate Indira Jaising. If you go back in history, there have been so many individuals who've actually gone to court and said that, we would like, for a variety of reasons, whether it's the High Court or otherwise, saying that we would like because whatever is said in court doesn't get recorded, so you don't have a verbatim sort of record of it in today's day and age. So that's how it actually started. If you go into the past, people have tried to to the extent bring in recording devices into the court, and some who have been caught have been severely penalized for it, and things like that. So that's the sort of interesting history of something like this. But I think importantly is 2016-17 when a petition under Article 32 of the Constitution was filed by Indira Jaising, and certain others also, joined. There was a law student called Swapnil Tripathi. He had also filed it more from the educational perspective, and we sort of joined the petition. We said that this is very, very essential, and in fact a friend of mine who's a litigant, Mr. Amrish Kilachan, we've said that we not only support this, but we want to bring in additionally the question of legal transcription. So this happened, and then the Supreme Court heard this matter for almost over a year. And, a lot of deliberations happened. We met the Attorney General. We showed them how, if, since the Parliament and the legislature, they used to record every single of their meetings, and, even legislative assemblies had to record it. So we said, why not, this arm, that is the judiciary, should also get it. A lot of research has gone into it. I must say, we've the fact that I was able to practice law, and I've seen how it happens in other countries of the world. We've brought all that to the fore. We submitted it in a variety of ways. We did experiments. I mean, for example, we even had an experiment done with a few members of the ILA, where we got an AI app and did a mock, sort of a mock court, and said, let us see if someone is, acts as the judge, and two lawyers arguing against each other, what the transcript actually will look like. So we got that done. We submitted it to a technical person from the Supreme Court E-Committee, and showed them how this is done. Also, I think some of the great examples we also showed was the International Court of Justice at The Hague, the Court of Appeal in the UK. I mean, there are very fine examples of how live streaming, transcription, translation, simultaneous translation in different languages are done. So I think all that was done, was shown, and then of course, when the pandemic happened and everything had to go online, this kind of accelerated the process. So the use of technology became much better, and of course the other thing is, initially it everything was being done on business platforms like Zoom, etc. Now, slowly, the thought process is that the Supreme Court and all the other courts, like others around the world, will have a separate cloud on which all this will come. So this is will take place, and I think just the fact that all constitutional matters in the Supreme Court will be shown live, I think it's like people have come out, we've come out of the dark ages. People know now exactly what happens in the most important limb of democracy in our country.
This is brilliant. I did not even know that you have put in so much work and so much different work than what people think lawyers do. Like doing your experiment with, mooting, getting an AI app. How did that go? How was the experiment? Was the legal translation okay?
Yes, I think, I mean, of course, we purposely used a free app. We said, let's see if we can get good results. We got about, I think, 85% accuracy, which is fantastic. So
it's really, really good with a free app. So hopefully with a paid version, you may get much closer to 100.
That's right. And the best part about technology is that it doesn't waste time in getting implemented. So once you implement something, it's immediate. You don't have to wait for other things. So it's very good. And the great thing about the order was that it very clearly said that in 2018, in fact, it came out on the same day as the Azhar judgment came out, and it said that of course there will be certain limitations, in the sense that matters of sort of which had confidentiality and other aspects, including rape, etc., where it involved children, those would be excluded, and you would also have the like, for example, internationally, what happens is, if for example you can't afford, or you're on legal aid, then transcripts are actually provided free of cost. Now, here the court can decide that if they find that it is a commercial suit, then parties may even have to pay for transcription. So it's like that. So I think these are issues which will have to be looked into by the court on the administrative side. So I think this is very, very interesting, and this will bring out an entire new sort of branch of like, for example, in the past, how you had typing institutes, you probably have now an institute for transcribers and
And translators, because we
translators.
have so many languages, at least 20 state languages. Or yeah.
And now, of course, with technology, it can be simultaneous, so that is also not a problem. The other interesting part is it'll benefit uh, not only sort of the lawyers, judiciary. I mean, for example, every time a new judge comes in, he can actually get to know what happened on the last occasion, which is not possible today. you know, uh, he can read through the transcript. He can uh, take a look at what happened in, I mean, literally like real time. So and also reporting of cases. I think that's another very important aspect. The whole issue of reporting will change. So because it is factual, it is there. I mean, I can then go back and check and see, okay, that is this what has happened. It was quite often, wrong reporting sends out a wrong message. Also, I think the other aspect is hopefully over a period of time, there'll be a lot of discipline. You know, in the court proceeding, you'll start on time, you'll end on time. All these things, and then of course for persons with disability, I think for them also it is extremely important that they know what is going on in court, they can participate, and yeah, I think and hopefully this whole process will slowly percolate, to the lowest court, to tribunals, to everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's an absolutely great initiative. The point, I mean, you made amazing points, but I think the one big takeaway for me is that it will increase accountability also, because people can see today, unfortunately, none of us have accountability that way. If something happens, we make a mistake, our client suffers, yes, but uh, we don't suffer in our individual capacity. So we don't have that account, most of us, maybe because of our personalities, we hold ourselves accountable, but there is no one body holding us accountable to a certain standard of uh, practice, or a certain standard of service rather. So that is really nice. Do you have, just to wrap up this quick podcast, because it's supposed to be a short episode, do you have, like, if you have to say one or two big lessons that you learned through this process, and one or two sort of big messages that you want to give the listeners of the podcast in and through this whole journey of yours with this particular case, what would you say would those be?
No, I think the most important aspect is, at the end of the day, one has to remember that the court and the judicial system has to be, there not only for what it stands for, but at the end of the day, it has to be for the citizen. I mean, he is the end result. It is because of the petitioner or the plaintiff and the defendant. Justice has to be, and this is such a crucial cog in that system, because if you have transparency, and yes, to achieve that in India, it has taken this kind of time. Uh, we could have adopted this many years ago, but for whatever reason, uh, you know one reason of course was because one tried to find out that as to why we didn't have transcripts in our system, for example. Of course, live streaming and all this was never there because it was technologically not found. But the one of the reasons probably was because the judicial system, for example, took away the jury system from, except for I think Parsi matrimonial and your Coroner's court. We don't have the jury system in India, so that was one of the reasons, probably why it just became judge centric, and therefore it just went out one day, finished. You'll be amazed to find that there are judgments and there are traces of transcripts in the non-electronic age, even as far back as 1900s. So, I think we've come, a long way from that. And the citizens, the law students of tomorrow will at least get to see and hear, how the judiciary has fared, how people have argued, and I think it will improve things on all sides. So I think that's the biggest takeaway.
And what is the way forward? Is the way forward percolating this down to all the other courts, right down to the sort of the lowest court in the lowest tribunal? That's the way forward.
Absolutely. The Supreme Court, E-Committee has a vision, has a plan, and I'm absolutely certain that it will be implemented over a period of time. So maybe we can do a catch up 2-3 years down the line to see how they fared.
Okay. On that note, thank you so much, Jamshed. We will get you back for a longer episode because you have a lot to share, and I know a little bit about your story and why you started ILA, and I really want that message to go out to everyone, at least through this podcast. So thank you so much for giving us your time, and we'll see you soon on another podcast. And this is the first, I just also want to announce that this is the first episode of our TDL times ILA Dialogues. We're starting a new series with various lawyers and law practitioners who are part of ILA. It was only right that we start this series with Jamshed, who's the founder of ILA. And then we'll have a lot more episodes on this series for all of you. So thank you for sticking with us. And all of the information about ILA, about Jamshed, about all of us will be on the show notes. So you can check that out. Thank you, Jamshed. Thank you. See you.